Hey guys, trying to find the right position to, I don't know, want to get good quality video without the sun doing too much. I don't know if it looks a little too foggy or what the deal is. Maybe it's the lens. I don't know. um, just sitting out back here by the garden, getting ready to do some yard work. I need to do some weed eating, a little bit of mowing, and then I'll take the cultivator and go around the outside of the garden a little bit. It needs to be tended to. It's been a few weeks actually, and even just with the weather, being in the hundreds, it doesn't make things any easier. Um, but yeah, I've gotten a little laxed. I want to say probably in the past 3 weeks with gardening and everything, just because I mean it was looking pretty supreme during my son's when we had his graduation party here. Had it looking, I don't want to say immaculate, but I don't want to say good enough for government, good enough for government work, but it definitely needs to be tended to. The corn, it's coming along pretty good. Looks like we're gonna have some pretty good sized corn too. Looks like some of them might be maybe close to about a foot in length. That is definitely no exaggeration. And when the time comes, I'll definitely get some pictures. The tomatoes, they're yeah, it seems like they're taking a while to ripen. I mean, they're getting sun for probably about 3 quarters of the day. They're getting sun. They're not really getting the late evening sun when it's like 100 something degrees. But for the most part, yeah, they're getting sun. I had planted the corn. Freaking fly. I had planted the corn north of the tomatoes just because I knew that the corn stalks were gonna overshadow the tomatoes, and the tomatoes wouldn't get much sunlight. And the corn stalks look pretty tall. I have not measured it. I would, if you guys want me to measure and let you know in the next video. Uh, just hit like, subscribe. I will. Yeah, I'll definitely measure. I want to say, if I had to guess, more than 7 feet tall, at least with one of them. They're not all that height, but they're a pretty good height. The sunflowers too, they're a really good height. Um, but yeah, I'm just sitting here drinking some chai tea. I did have my coffee earlier, a coffee black, but now I switched to a little bit of chai tea. I I guess this is pretty much a rambling video. It's not any particular thing. I had went to a buddy's house of mine. I've been friends with him for years. I was friends. Well, I am friends with his brother still, but I was friends with his brother. I was friends with his brother first, and then all of a sudden, it's kind of funny how things work out. It's not that his younger brother and I didn't hang out, but I mean we did, but it was mainly when I was hanging out with his older brother. Um, I mean I've known both of them for a long time, and I've known his younger brother since he was about 8 or 9, you know, and yeah, it's ever since I think my sophomore year in high school. So yeah, I've known both of them for quite a long time. I've known his older brother since junior high, since 7th grade. So I mean, we've had a pretty good friendship over, oh gosh, I guess now I could truly say 30 years, about 30 years. That's pretty good. Um, but no, we met up yesterday around noon. Then we went to a place called the Mix or something. It has trying to think. Quesadilla Gorilla. It has Visalia Scoops. It has Soul Bowl and a place called Bombshell Beans Company or something like that. But went to go get a chai tea latte there, a cold one. And, normally I'm just all about black coffee, hot. It's not that I won't go out of my element, but I'm more of a creature of habit. Just something I do. But I mean, I could drink hot black coffee, or just maybe hot coffee from Starbucks or Dutch Brothers or wherever I'm at. I'm not picky. I don't have a preference, nothing like that. But I'll just, like I said, I mean, I could drink hot black coffee in the middle of July and August. It don't bother me. Um, Man, that sounded like a bumblebee. I couldn't see. I heard it. I heard something though. It did sound like a bumblebee. Anyway, good lord, fly. Anyway, do I have a point to this video? Maybe a little bit. Oh yeah, that's right. A lot of times I like to take off my sandals and just plant my feet right in the grass. Just helps me to relax, unwind a little bit. Um, and I noticed too, I haven't really been doing that as much lately. Between that and sitting out here in the backyard listening to the birds and everything, and just chilling, relaxing, and I came to the realization a few minutes ago, maybe that's why I wanted to make this video, is that I noticed at a point in time, not just weeks ago, more than weeks ago, but at least a few months ago, it felt like things were getting a little tumultuous and a little shaky with work and just certain things going on. I don't really want to go too much into detail. I mean, I don't really like to name the place where I work, nothing like that. I mean, you never know. Somebody could always use it against you, or somebody can always just have something to say. Somebody's always going to have an opinion, or they're just always going to have something to say. That's human nature. Difference is, somebody has an opinion. Cool, that's your opinion. I'm not gonna belittle you for your opinion. I may not agree with your opinion, but I'm not gonna use your opinion against you or go and start snitching to people, about the way you feel. Um, but anyway, months and months ago, like I said, things were feeling a little shaky, and I don't want to say it felt like my job was at stake, but it was one of those, unless I move quicker, unless I move faster, unless I keep up with the team, then I'm not being serious enough, that I'm not uh, doing what fully needs to be done to get the job done. I need to move quicker, And it's like, I'm not 20 years old anymore. I'm not even in my 30s anymore. um, I did mention I do have some circulation issues. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I'm not trying to use that as an excuse, but that is my reality. Uh, Being a type 1 diabetic is a reality, and you could have myriad, host of different issues. Even if your A1C is good, it doesn't mean you're still, without issues. Um, Speaking of A1C, it's actually doing pretty good. It's doing better. I'm down from 7.8 to 7.2. My goal on my next doctor's visit is to be somewhere in the sixes. Um, I goodness. Okay, so, um, but yeah, I noticed it was at those times I noticed when I was having trouble at work and was just feeling down and out and just uh, and I really like my coworkers that's on my team. They're rock stars. They are. Um, and it's not to say that there's even older people on the crew that um, they work pretty good too. They're really good workers. They're all good workers. But I don't know. I felt so defeated, and I usually don't try to air out my dirty laundry on YouTube. I try not to share too much of my personal life. But I'm just gonna leave that. I don't do editing, so it is what it is. But I normally don't. I normally don't air out my dirty laundry, and I don't want to say I'm afraid to be opening myself up to scrutiny, or why don't you just change jobs, or why don't you do this, why don't you do that. Unless I ask people for advice, don't give it to me. Unless you ask me for advice, I'm not going to give you any advice unless you ask. I'm not going to give you unsolicited advice that's not warranted, that's not wanted. That's just how I roll. You do you. And if you want advice, yeah, ask away. Be prepared for the truth. You know, if I ask my audience or if I ask my friends and family for advice, I better be prepared for the truth because that's exactly what I want is the truth. I respect honesty. I respect truth. And lately, I feel like I've been more and more craving that honesty, craving that truth. Um, you know, it's even interesting, and you never know what you're going to hear out of people's mouths. If you really want to hear the truth, if you really want to know, to me, hearing the truth is better than, people being truthful. It's better than people being fake. It's better than people putting on a mask because at least you know where they stand. People that are fake, you never know where they stand. You never know what they're thinking. Um, but that's why I enjoy like people being truthful with me. And when it seems like, they're kind of hesitant, it's not exactly that they want to lie. They just maybe don't want to make me feel uncomfortable or other people feel uncomfortable. Um, I just honestly, I find it interesting when people are truthful because then you could see their true, genuine self, um, what they're thinking, how they're thinking. And it's just, it almost like opens up a door to a whole new world, especially when they're truthful. And you can peer past the veil of fake, you know? Um, but like I said, months ago when I was feeling down and out and just feeling like, am I incompetent? Am um, I don't know. That's how I was feeling. And it was almost like you tell a person long enough that, hey, you're not quick enough or you're not fast enough. Not exactly in those words, but hurry up, hurry up. What are you doing? Hurry up. It, you keep badgering a person like that, and eventually they're going to feel that way. Um, and it's not like I'm new to the game. I mean, I've been working for more than 25 years. I mean, I'm almost in my mid 40s. I mean, it's not like I'm new to the work world. I understand, to get things done in a timely fashion and that time is of the essence. But it's almost like we're talked to like if we're young teenagers, like if we don't know, like if it's almost like there's a playbook, of how we're to be talked to in a way, like in a certain way, corporate wise. And it's almost like a cult, it feels like. like, oh, we need to do everything with a sense of urgency, and I always hear that, and it's like, yeah, we know it's a business. Everything needs to be done with a sense of urgency, of course. Bottom line is making money, of course. That's nothing new. And that's what I just don't get. It's just, I don't want to say I hear that speech daily, but it feels like I do sometimes. And, even just talking about this right now, it just, that's why I don't mention names. I don't mention places. Um, but like I said, months ago when all that was going on, I noticed I was coming outside a lot more. I was taking time out for myself, just planting my feet in the grass, drinking some coffee, relaxing, listening to a good podcast. And I notice I haven't been doing that as much. Is it because I'm not as stressed? That could be a possibility. The stress isn't there as much. And so maybe I don't need those relaxers. I don't need them as much as what I did. But just to know that I could always go back and do that for myself, I believe I can. I mean, we all owe it to ourselves to find our good medicine, whether it be through church, whether it be through exercising, whether it be through just sitting outside, relaxing, whether it be through watching a good movie or listening to some good music, having a good cup of coffee. I believe that, going for a walk, going for a drive, listening to music, I believe we all are should seek out good medicine, and especially um, in times of shaky ground, not to use it as a crutch, but to help us get through those times while learning how to deal with those times. Prayer, through prayer, I believe wholeheartedly, prayer will get you far if that's your thing. Um, a combination of between prayer and just self help books if that's your thing. You know, self help books. If that's your thing, have at it. Have at it. Um, but yeah, I just that's one thing I've kind of noticed though that I haven't been doing a lot of that lately, and I would like to maintain that. I would like to maintain certain good medicine, but it kind of does feel like I've been a little out of balance lately with things again. Um, I don't want to, nothing bad, but just, um, I haven't, like I said, I haven't worked in the garden lately and everything. I think I need to start going back to doing that, but the excessive heat, that's one deterrent. It's like the last thing I want to do is come home from work, in the evening and then hit the garden. I was doing that weeks and weeks ago, when it was like maybe in the upper 80s, lower 90s. I was able to get away with that. But 103, 105, it's like, I'm good, So I've been having to wait until my days off, which today is my day off. And what am I doing? I'm making a video. But I just wanted to make a video really quick, just to, something rolling around in my mind. Um, like I said, I do need to get to it afterwards. My son and I, we're going to go hit up some grub for lunch. And I don't know, see what else awaits. Maybe go for a drive or something. But all right, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.